3 weeks, that's how long I was gone. 3 painful, exhausting weeks spent in my childhood home, sleeping on a creaky couch, surrounded by the slow, suffocating scent of hospital, disinfectant, and fading memories. I had flown back to take care of my dying mother. She had been diagnosed with late-stage cancer just months before, and I couldn't bear to let her go through her final days alone. I watched her shrink into someone I barely recognized, held her hand when she struggled to breathe, fed her when she couldn't lift a spoon, and sat beside her through sleepless nights. The pain of watching her die slowly, bit by bit, changed something in me. I cried until there were no more tears left, and then, when it was over, I stayed a little longer to help arrange the funeral, pack her belongings, and say goodbye to the house where I grew up. By the time I came back home to my husband, I was emotionally drained, worn down to my bones, and craving one thing: comfort. I wanted warmth. I wanted my space. I wanted to walk back into my house and feel like I could finally rest. But instead, I walked into a place that didn't feel like mine anymore. The second I stepped through the door, something felt off. The air smelled wrong, sweet, overly floral, like a scent I would never choose. I chalked it up to cleaning products at first, or maybe a new air freshener, but then I noticed the little things: the wine glass on the drying rack, stained with coral lipstick I've never worn, a silk robe hanging on the bathroom door that wasn't mine, too pink, too frilly, too not me. When I asked Ethan, my husband, about it, he waved it off, said my sister must have left it when she visited. But my sister hadn't stayed at the house, not once. There were 2 toothbrushes beside the sink. His and someone else's, 2 coffee mugs in the morning, even though I hadn't touched a cup since I got back. A strange hair tie wrapped around the living room remote. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. Grief does weird things to the brain. I told myself I was tired, I needed sleep, I needed space, but deep inside, something screamed at me to keep looking. Something wasn't right, and I could feel it in my bones, like a warning whispered beneath the silence of our home 2 days before I returned home. I got a call from Clara, our neighbor. She and I weren't particularly close, but we exchanged small talk now and then. Holiday greetings, the occasional borrowed cup of sugar. That day, her voice was low, unsure, like she was trying to figure out if she should even be saying anything at all. "Jen, I hope I'm not overstepping," she said, "but there's been a woman around, at your place. A few times, actually. She's been parking in your driveway. Ethan said she was a coworker, but it felt off." I remember standing in the kitchen of my mother's house, the phone pressed against my ear, my heart suddenly pounding harder than it had during the entire funeral. I asked her what she looked like, and the moment she described her, blonde, tall, always in heels, fake, nice smile, I already knew. Sasha, that was her name. Ethan had once introduced her to me at his company's Christmas party, calling her just an intern. But I remembered her eyes, the way they lingered on Ethan just a bit too long. The way she seemed to watch me, like she was studying a puzzle. I dismissed her back then, thought I was being insecure. But now Clara's words echoed in my head like sirens. When I got back home, I started checking everything. His messages were mostly clean, he'd deleted a lot, but he wasn't tech-savvy. His cloud still held backups. There were pictures of them, selfies taken in my house in our bed. I found a screenshot of a calendar reminder titled "Sasha moves in clean guest room." Another note read "Move Jen's stuff to storage box." I wasn't supposed to see any of this. I wasn't even supposed to suspect. He thought I'd be too heartbroken, too mentally drained to notice. And maybe if I hadn't gotten that call, I would have played the fool a little longer. But now I saw it everywhere: the changes, the lies, the way he touched me like I was glass and not a person. He had moved her into our house while I was burying my mother. She was walking around in my slippers, sipping coffee from my mugs, probably sleeping in my bed while he sent me "I miss you" texts, and the worst part wasn't even the betrayal. It was the smugness he carried every day, believing I knew nothing at all. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything or confront him the way most people probably would. No, I did something far more terrifying. I stayed calm. I smiled. I kissed him on the cheek, cooked dinner like nothing had changed, and told him how happy I was to be home. Because the moment I realized what they had done, I knew I wasn't going to let it slide. I wasn't going to let my pain be invisible. I wanted every single crack they'd carved into me to echo in their lives forever. So I started planning, quietly and methodically. First, I bought hidden cameras, discreet, tiny ones that fit inside picture frames, plant pots, even a decorative candle in the hallway. I synced them to a cloud drive only I had access to. Every kiss, every whisper, every time she laughed in my house was recorded. I went through his phone again, but this time I used a data recovery tool. The messages I found were disgusting. The way they mocked me, the way they called me boring, emotional, clueless. It was like reading a different language, one where I didn't even exist as a human being. I printed screenshots, created folders. I even hired a private investigator and told him everything. He didn't judge. He just got to work. Within days, I had time. Stamped photos of Ethan and Sasha going to dinner together, shopping for furniture, walking hand in hand into our home like a couple. All while I was gone. All while I was grieving. And yet every night, Ethan climbed into bed with me and kissed my forehead like he was the perfect husband. That made me sick more than anything else. But I wasn't going to just walk away. No, that house was mine. My name was on everything. He had used my absence to build a fake life, and now I was going to burn that lie to the ground, brick by brick, but with style. His 40th birthday was coming up. He wanted a party, friends, family. He asked me to plan it. And that's when I smiled the biggest smile and said, "Of course, love. Let's make it unforgettable." And I meant that with every ounce of my soul. The night of Ethan's birthday party arrived with perfect timing. The weather was crisp but not too cold. The house glowed with golden lights, and the backyard was set up like a scene from a magazine. Everyone was there. His family, our friends, coworkers, even a few of Sasha's acquaintances who had started showing up more and more in our social circle. She was there too, dressed like a polished trophy, walking through the crowd with confidence like she had every right to be there. I greeted her with a glass of wine, smiled, and even complimented her dress. She looked pleased with herself, as if the mask she was wearing had become her real face. Ethan beamed, oblivious to what was coming. He gave a little speech, thanked everyone, and kissed me on the cheek in front of the crowd like we were still the golden couple. It took everything in me not to flinch. After the dinner and the toasts, I stood up and told everyone I had prepared a little tribute video for Ethan, something special to celebrate his life, his work, and the love we shared. The lights dimmed and the screen lit up. At first, it showed clips of Ethan as a child, pictures of us on vacations, sweet moments of our wedding, funny videos of our dog. People smiled, laughed, clapped softly. But then the video shifted. The screen went black for a few seconds, and the music stopped. A new clip began to play, grainy footage from one of the hidden cameras. Sasha stepping out of our shower, Ethan drying her hair. Them sitting on our couch, drinking wine, kissing. The room fell completely silent. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the video continued. Screenshots of their texts, the mocking words they wrote about me. Images from the private investigator of them walking hand in hand. I stood in front of the screen, not saying a word, just watching the audience as the truth unfolded. Sasha dropped her wine glass. Ethan stood frozen, his mouth open but no words coming out. I turned to them slowly and said, "Happy birthday, Ethan. You said you wanted something unforgettable." The silence after that was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. Faces turned away, whispers spread. His mother looked like she might faint. And Sasha, once so confident, bolted out of the backyard with tears streaking her mascara after that night. Nothing was ever the same. And that was exactly what I wanted. The perfect image Ethan had built of himself shattered into pieces that everyone could see. His mother refused to speak to him. His coworkers distanced themselves overnight, and the company where he once bragged about being indispensable quietly let him go, citing personal conduct concerns. Sasha vanished from our lives entirely. Her shame was too big, too public, too permanent to be scrubbed clean, and me, I filed for divorce the very next morning. With every receipt, every video, every witness from that night, I walked into the lawyer's office with power on my side. I got the house, I got compensation, I got my name back. Untangled from his lies, unstained by his betrayal, I repainted the walls, replaced the sheets, and walked barefoot through the home I reclaimed as mine. People often ask me why I didn't just leave quietly, why I went through all the effort, all the pain, just to expose them the way I did, and the answer is simple: because sometimes silence isn't strength. Sometimes strength is standing in the storm, looking your betrayal in the eye, and refusing to bow. I didn't want revenge to destroy them. I wanted it to wake them, and maybe, just maybe, remind them that even the quietest woman in the room can burn the whole place down when she's had enough.